Morning, Gary. Thanks for joining us here at Constantia, talking about coaching young players and moving up the ranks. So I think the first conversation that we need to have is those players between the ages of 10 and 14 who are sort of just coming through the game. What is the most important thing for a coach to do over that period of a player's life?
Yeah, Ryan, I think for me the most important thing is that we make it fun. The guys have got to enjoy what they're doing on the cricket field. I think it's our responsibility as a coach to attract them to the game in many ways. But if a young kid is showing some talent at that age, between 10 and 14, it's probably a good time for you to start getting him to understand his technique. So I think from a coaching perspective, us as GKCA will certainly make an effort to create some competition within the work that he's doing, especially if it's a one-on-one. It's a little bit of competition with a bit of drill work. I think you can have some quite nice ways of the coach creating some fun competition to get him to do what you would like him to try and do. But I think for me it's important that a guy understands the technique a little bit more there, because for me it's I think we could equate it to a young golfer who goes for some golfing lessons as a 10-year-old. He's starting to understand how to build a golf swing, and then he can take that golf swing throughout his career. And I think cricket's no different, or certainly batting, where a guy gets to understand his bat swing and then he can take it with for the rest of his days.
And in terms of repetition, what do you suggest the guy should be getting every week in terms of how many balls should they be hitting, how many balls should they be bowling or catching?
I think at that age, it's always a challenge to work out how much a young player should do. But if the kid is keen, he's enjoying it, he wants to be out here, and largely I would check in with the guy there. And I think often as a coach you can see whether a kid's really pumped to stay in the nets and keep hitting balls. But I would certainly be a fan of getting as much repetition in that time as possible. So I try to gauge it as a coach just to see how interested he remains, and you can often see that just in body language, and you can see that in his posture, and how much he needs to be hitting the ball. So and I think equally with a bowler as well. There's often the argument we don't want to over-bowl bowlers. I understand that and appreciate that, but I also want to get a bowler to improve his skills. So I think it's important as a coach that you can gauge where a guy is physically in those components.
And in terms of coaching a team, guys between the ages of 10 and 14 have some different dynamics to deal with in a team. What do you suggest coaching teams of that age group?
Coaching at that age group in a team is critical for me. And for me, I would always maintain that the emphasis must be on learning to compete. Take away the importance of the result, because I want to see guys playing freely, and I want to see them take it on even if they make an error, and then that way they can grow their skill and really get to understand their skill. So I know that if I'm working with a young team, I'm wanting them really to enjoy themselves as a team. I want them to understand the values of teamwork, what it is to work together as a group of people, and how to achieve success through that. To look at their behaviors and to say, is it geared towards doing stuff for the team, but at the same time to really explore your skills. I want to encourage them to go out there and take on a bit of risk. And yes, we want to win every game and we want to be recognized as a good team, but I want everyone to be involved. I want everyone to contribute. And I've always been a fan of, especially in the modern game, of a player being able to be good at all the skills. He can bowl a little bit, he's a good batsman, he can be a great fielder, and I'd certainly like to encourage that as a coach.
So instead of those performance goals, probably process goals around that. And what are your thoughts on things like rotating the batting order, etc.? Again,
I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that, of rotating the batting order. For no reason than I think we're only developing skills at that age. Especially with young guys. I understand an under 13 A cricket team kind of wants to have a bit more stability in their batting order. I do understand that, but I would certainly, as a coach, like to encourage as much as you can of everyone being able to develop their skills, because skills aren't developed fully yet. And we would find a real talented 14-year-old who has been able to dabble with his left arm spin all the way through, although maybe not bowling that much, but we suddenly unearth this talent because we've allowed him to keep doing it. So I would certainly encourage kind of a participation in all the components of the game as much as possible.
Thanks very much, Gary. That's great insight.